What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to be working on the Tacoma. I got a new gadget. This time of year, it's finally mid-October. I'm kind of gearing up for hunting season right now. Bow season starts next week for me, and I'm trying to get the Tacoma ready. I got some new stuff that I wanted to put on it, and it's kind of been sitting on the shelf for a while. Today we're going to be installing a HiBoost cell phone booster system. I actually installed their first generation system years ago here on the channel. We put it on that trailer we built with the rooftop tent on top, but they've got a brand new one out. This one is called the Travel 3.0 Explorer X, and this is more for the Overland type vehicle. But what this is, it's a cell phone booster. Now, a lot of people get confused thinking that you can purchase one of these and you're gonna have signal for your cell phone anywhere you go. And that's not true. You have to have at least one bar. You gotta have something for the signal to actually boost. It's a booster, not a signal provider, you know. But this will work with any provider out there, whether you're Verizon, AT&T. The last one we had worked great. We did some camping trips up on the mountain where there was barely any service, and it actually boosted me from like a 1 bar to a 3 bar in places where some guys didn't have any service at all. Now, they have some different boosters on their website that are for more of a car or, you know, kind of a portable use. You don't have to permanently mount them anywhere. You can kind of pull them in and out of your rig. I want this to kind of be permanently mounted, especially since we can now fold the antenna up and down. When we're not using it, instead of taking it off the truck, I should be able to just fold the antenna out of the way on top, and then when we go camping or whatever, flip it up and we'll have that signal booster there. Let's unbox it really quick and see what's in the box. So like I said, this is the Travel 3.0 Explorer X, and as you can see right here on the box, it says for overland and off-road. So let's pop it open, and it's even got a diagram kind of on the back here. It shows you kind of how to set everything up. And what I meant by the two antennas is you're gonna have an inner antenna that goes straight to your cell phone, and then you got a top or a roof antenna that's gonna be on your vehicle. You want those as far away apart as you can get them to keep them from, I think the signals kind of will interfere if you get the two antennas too close to each other. So let's open this bad boy up. This one, you can tell it's a little bit more heavy duty. It's got rubber on the sides. And I believe the way we mount this, it'll be the same way we did last year. Now, this is just kind of like the brain of it, and you can stick this under your seat or, you know, in the back of your vehicle somewhere out of the way. As long as you can get your outdoor antenna to one end and your indoor antenna with your DC hookup, which is probably going to be like a cigarette port or a cigarette lighter port that we're going to have to plug into. I'll probably end up using my Jackery for that, you know, or my Pecron that I take with me. We've got our antenna. And I think this is an antenna extension. It's not the exact antenna, but you can see it's a pretty long extension. It's all black too, which I really like. I think the last one I got from them might have had some chrome in it, or, you know, some metal showing that I didn't like. That's all black. On the bottom here, this is what I was talking about. So this is the sticky pad. It's double-sided. It's very strong, very heavy duty, and well, you put this on the back of what you're gonna, you know, mount in your vehicle. That way you don't have to drill holes. You can just stick this on the back. And hopefully we can get this maybe in the back area. You know, I did the rear seat delete on my Tacoma, so we can find a place back there for it. Got some more zip ties for cable management. And here is our main line. And what's really neat about their units, it has disconnect points. So we don't have this big antenna hooked on the wire. As you can see, their wire is unhooked on both sides, and this will screw to the antenna on one end, and then you can screw it to your box on the other end. But this makes it really easy to be able to run your cable through your firewall or places, you know. If this was connected to an antenna on the other end, it would be kind of complicated to feed the wire where we need it. We got 15 foot of cable, and then the antenna itself is going to have some. Let's pull the antenna itself out. So this is the actual antenna. See how it's got the big box, or big whatever this thing is on the top of it. But what we'll do is this cable right here would feed down through this, and then this should have a fold-away base right here. And it's a really nice fold-away base. This is all aluminum. This is not plastic. And instead of like a ratcheting system to fold it up and down, you pull this knob, and when you pull this knob, you can adjust it up, and it locks into place, so you don't have to worry about your antenna going up or going down on its own. Sorry, I got my garage door open. So Like I said, you can fold it up, fold it down. This should mount really well. I think I've got a good spot for this antenna to mount on my Prinsu rack, kind of in between where my tent and boxes are on my roof. And it also comes with a spring. I don't think you have to run this. I really hope not, because I don't plan on running it. But I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you wanted to run, there's a washer in there for it too. So if you wanted to run this permanently somewhere where you think that your antenna is going to be, you know, brushing trees or something like that, it does have a spring on here that you can mount at the base of your antenna to give it a little bit of flex so that you don't break your antenna. I probably will not be running that. Here's the inner antenna, really long cable on it too, which is good, so we can separate the antennas. And this is just a puck, and all of this comes with Velcro backing, so we should be able to put this puck where we want it. You want it kind of in the cab, close to where your cell phone's going to be when you're trying to get signal, and your cell phone will connect to this, and then, you know, it'll go through your box and up to your antenna. But you got Velcro strips to be able to mount this where you want it. And here's a little stubby antenna mount. Now this has a slotted hole on the side. Y'all see this hole right here? And what that hole is for is, since the antenna has a disconnect cable, see the cable here? This end will connect to our 15-foot cable, which will run through the truck. But since it's coming straight out of the bottom of the antenna, what this is designed to do is run through this, and it gives the cable a way to come out so that you don't have this weird wire sticking off the side of your antenna when we mount it. Let me show you what I mean. So this can go through here, and then the cable can feed out of the side there so that we can have a clean mount, and the cable doesn't, you know, we're not going to see the cable running all the way down the outside of our antenna. It's going to come out real nice and clean out of the side of this spot right here. It should look good. I even thought about not running this long extension, just running this stubby up here on the top. So I'll think about that as we get into mounting it. Comes with mounting brackets for the antenna base. I'll leave those out. And here is the way you power it. So like I thought, it's just a cigarette lighter or a 12-volt plug. This will plug into our box inside our cab, and you can either plug this into the dash of your vehicle, or you can plug it up to, you know, a power bank, which I'll probably use, you know, when we're camping. I'll just reach back and plug this into our Pecaron or whatever. But it doesn't delete, like if you need an extra USB port, it actually has one on the end of it. So if you're using the cigarette lighter port in your vehicle as a USB plug, you don't lose that ability. You can still use your same port, which is cool. So these things are really not that complicated to install. It's just a matter of where you want to mount your outside antenna and being able to feed your wire through. 15 foot should be enough to get us to where I'm wanting to mount this on top of my truck. The way all of this system works is you have an app on your phone that you'll download, and it's all in the user manual, and it's all colored. It's a really good user manual to be able to set it up and get the best service that you can. It helps you kind of boost the signal, and you can dial it in. But the way it works is, once you get out there to the field or where you're camping, if you don't have a good signal, you can plug up your booster, and then you open up the app on your phone, connect your phone through the app to the booster, and then that's how it boosts your service, you know, and gets you a better signal when you're out to where you're somewhere where you just don't have a good signal. And all you got to have is a little bit of a signal for this to work. If you have no signal, now, like I said, it's not going to work. This is not going to create a signal for you. But if you're somewhere where you can get to the top of a hill or a mountain where you can just pick up just the smallest bit of signal, this will boost that signal for you. And I used the one we had last year or year before last a lot. It works really good up on the mountains here in Alabama, where most people don't even have signal, where we was getting signal with a booster. So the first thing I want to do before I get in the inside of the truck, I want to try to figure out where I want to mount my antenna so that I can fold it up and fold it down. And then we'll make sure that we got enough wire here. It's 15 foot, should be enough, but I want to be able to feed this down through my firewall and get into my cab of the truck somehow. So let's go out to the truck. All right, I got the truck as close to my garage door as possible. I apologize in advance for the traffic. It is football Saturday. I live right down the road from Jacksonville State University. So the highway I'm beside is just going to be, it's going to be loud. So y'all bear with me. But the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking the small one that I showed you guys with the slot for the cable to come out of, and I'm going to go ahead and screw it onto our antenna extension. And I'll get up there on the roof in just a minute with you guys and show you where I plan to mount it. But if you're familiar with my current setup, I've got these two boxes mounted outside of my vehicle on each side, which created, I've got a little valley right in between these boxes where I can mount my antenna directly to my Prinsu roof rack. And my thought process is I've got a rail that goes across from back here. If I get into the center of the cab and I mount my antenna mount, this guy right here, the folding one, I can actually have this set up, and I'll kind of mock it up and show you. I'll be able to set it up in the center of my cab, and when I fold it up, it'll have the highest point possible for service, and you do want to get this as high as you can off your vehicle. I was originally just going to go with a stubby, but I figured once the tent's popped up, it's going to be pretty low compared to the tent, so I'm going to use this extension that it came with it, but I'll be able to fold this out. And most of the time when I'm, just daily driving my vehicle and not camping or using the booster, you won't even know I've got this antenna there. It's going to be hidden in between both of my front boxes, mounted flush. And then when we do go camping, I can reach up there, pull that knob, and then I can raise my antenna straight up like that. All right, I ran into my first little hiccup here. Let me show you what I'm working with. I've got my box kind of unmounted from the roof so I could get to the center a little bit easier. But you can see I've got it mounted up, and I'm using my T-Track system in my Prinsu rack to bolt it. It's a solid mount, and you can see how it lays down right in the middle, and you won't be able to see it, but I wanted to show you guys, see this bounce? Now, you're supposed to be able to mount this guy right here, and it actually clicks into the shaft and will hold it, but this is just too tall for where I have it mounted. And this is meant to use with the actual mount that comes with it that would actually get this bracket up a little bit higher. But since I'm using my rack, I didn't want to have an extra mount up here, and it's a cleaner look by bolting it straight to my Prinsu rack. I can't really use this because this stretches it up a little bit too high, and I don't want to put a bend in the antenna. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is when I'm running and it's down, instead of it vibrating and doing this while I'm driving all the time, I'm probably just going to get me a Velcro strap and just strap it to the center bar. And then when I do go camping, I'll just pull that strap off, and then I can, let's see if I can do this with one hand with y'all. I can pull this button, raise the antenna up, and then I got a nice high cell phone booster antenna right on the top. And I think my cable is going to be just long enough to go all the way over here to the edge where I've got all my light cables and stuff already ran, and then we'll tie in right here to the extra cable, the 15-footer, and it's going to run all the way down the side here, and you won't be able to see it. The outside wire is officially ran. I'm going to show you guys how I did it before I go any further. So here's our antenna. I showed you that just a minute ago. It's mounted up. I was able to hide the wire all the way down through the, see if you can see in there. See my Prinsu rack back in there? I was able to hide the wire, and it runs down the Prinsu rack all the way down through the front window. So it's tucked behind here. And I want to show you guys a trick really quick if you're watching this for kind of tips, or if you're planning on doing something like this. Obviously, I've got wires already coming from my Prinsu rack down. I've got my ditch lights up here, or whatever those lights in my handles are from Prinsu. Those wires are coming down my windshield. The antenna we just installed, my top lights are coming down the windshield. And I want to show you how you can do that. If you look at this stuff I showed you that came with this, that you use for the back of the thing, as you can see, I've been cutting strips off of it. This is like a really thick rubber material, super sticky. And if you cut strips, you can use it to stick, you peel your little molding back right here. There's actually two wires running under here. Y'all can see them up there at the top. And you just cut you some little strips of those, stuff that back in there because it's really sticky. And then when you tuck your wires in and start pushing it down, it'll bond it in there, and it'll keep it nice and tight in there. And that's how I've got both sides. I think my top light, my big light bar up there, it's coming down this side. You can see it, that's a thick light, but it's coming down right through that side. But now I've got them hid pretty good on each side. Now, right here is where my wire is coming into the firewall. So it runs down through here. Here's my antenna wire that I just ran. And I found me a passway. I don't know if you guys can see it right down there. My drain tube for the AC kind of pokes through the firewall, and I just shared the grommet. Didn't have to cut anything. I just kind of squeezed it in there next to the grommet. If you come around here, you can't see it at all. Of course, you can see other wires from my GMRS radio, but it comes out and it's right back there if you guys can see it. And I've got it run up under my center console, and then it was just long enough to tuck up under my seat, and it's gonna poke out right there. There's the end of it. So I've got just enough room down there for us to hide our box mounted in there. And then from there, of course, we'll hook our power cable up to the box and our cell phone antenna, which once I get the box mounted and this hooked up, we're gonna run this back up front and get it as far away from that roof antenna as possible. You want those, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you want them as far away as possible when you're using the system. So I'm gonna do that really quick and I'll show you how it turns out. All right, guys, the cell phone booster is installed. I'm gonna show you the full setup really quick, and then I'm gonna hop in there and show you how it boosts the signal. But there's my antenna, and I think that's a pretty good distance away from my inside antenna, and I'll show you where I've got it mounted. But as you can tell, I've got this one, if I can get the sunlight out of the shot, I've got it at the very back of the cab, and my inside antenna is way up front up here. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna say that I could have mounted it on the back of my Overland rack here, but the way I've got this Overland set up on my truck, it's a quick disconnect. So the power that I've got running up here to my tent, I've got an Anderson plug. I can quickly unplug that, remove these 8 bolts from my Yakima rack to my Diamondback, and then I use my tractor and forks to lift my entire setup off the truck. So I can literally go from my daily driving truck to my Overland setup within a few minutes. And if I'd have put the antenna on the back of the rack back here, I would have to unhook the antenna every single time. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be on the truck no matter what. So it looks good up there. When it's folded down, it's completely hidden. So that worked out really well. Up here is where I've got the inside antenna. Right here behind my radio, I just Velcroed it there, which is a good spot because this is where my cell phone runs or rides whenever I'm driving. Everything's hidden up here. I've got my Pecron in the truck, and I've got it plugged in. Here's the power source. I've got the power cord running up under my platform here down to the booster box. Now I've got it pulled out. It's gonna go under my seat. I just wanted y'all to see it. You see the lights flashing. It's all connected already. It's hooked to my phone, and it's currently boosting the signal of my phone. Let's go around here and I'll show you how that works. And once you download the app, it instantly connects, and then you just kind of sign in or create a login. Oh, let's get in here. So this is how it looks inside my truck. I've got my cell phone booster or antenna right here, like I showed you. And let's see if I can do this without a glare. Open my phone up, and the app looks like this guy right here. When you open it up, since I'm already connected, it's showing all my parameters, and you can see it's got a very good connection right now. As a matter of fact, I'm showing 4 bars and a low battery. Hold on. My truck's not running. So I'm showing 4 bars or 3 bars in 5G. And right here in my driveway, when I'm not connected to Wi-Fi, I usually only have about 1 bar. So it's boosting my service right now. You can name it so that you can see it when you hook to Bluetooth. I think I've got it named already. Yeah, TJ Cell Booster. Its location, its GPS. There's a lot of cool stuff with it. You just kind of read through the manual when you set it up, but it's really, really easy to use, and these things really do work well. So you can actually get this new 3.0 Explorer X straight from HiBoost website, or you can go to Amazon. I'll have both links in the video description. If they give me a promo code to share with you guys, I'll have it next to the links below, so y'all be sure to check them out. They've got other ones, like I mentioned earlier, some that have magnetic antennas, so if you don't want to permanently mount it to your vehicle, but you want to have that cell phone boost capability, check out their website. If they give me a coupon code, it should work with all of them. I'll check and see, but check the description below, or you can just hop on Amazon. I'll have the Amazon link below too, and pick one of these things up. If you're thinking about building out an overland rig or a camping rig, or you're going to the mountains, these do work, and they do work really well. Remember, you got to have a little bit of service before it will work. It won't create service out of thin air, but if you've got a little bit of service, it will definitely help boost your signal, and you never know, it could save your life. So I love having these things on my vehicle. This is the second one that I have used from them. The other one, like I mentioned, done great. We absolutely love having that extra boost when we need it. So y'all check them out. Thanks for watching this week's video. If you're new here, I upload every Monday at 6 p.m., and I will catch you guys next week. Peace.